Hello, it's Stephen here with another house build, and this time we're building a group accommodation. It's a pretty big one. Previously on my channel, I did build something similar a while back, because as my whole family's for a couple of years in a row, we went on a weekend away, and that sparked some inspiration to build this, and that is what we're doing. Of course, I'm just trying to basically lay out some kind of layout that works, but that will change in the future as well. The end result does not look really like this, but you have to start somewhere. If my whole family, as it is right now, would go on a weekend away, we would need 16 bedrooms, and this one has 16, I think, or maybe 18, something along those lines. Because my family doesn't want to share rooms with other people, they want their own room, which makes sense, but that does make it a tiny bit more difficult trying to fit it all in. I think now 3 weeks ago I had my niece and nephew over, and I just finished this build, and we did a cute voiceover for it. You have to keep the kids busy. I will not upload that on here, but it's something nice to have to look back on maybe in the future. But 2 weeks ago, I went to a concert, 2 concerts in a row, and potentially you can hear this on my voice. Maybe not. Maybe you can. I got COVID from that concert. Really, really nice. That was definitely not the reason I was going to this concert. I was definitely going for normal reasons. But yeah, that happened. We're now dealing with it. The hardest part was maybe that I lost my voice. That definitely was not a nice thing that happened, but we will persevere. You can now see this getting more of a good layout. As I said, I needed a lot of bedrooms. When we used to do these vacations, we used to go back when my grandma was still alive. So I'm gonna also include some downstairs bedrooms because grandma was not that good on foot. So it makes sense that we would find somewhere that has bedrooms on the ground floor. I would say that all those places we went to were not as fancy as this one. This one is very, very fancy, and at least that's how I make it, of course. But yeah, I went to these concerts. I have a concert on Thursday and on Saturday also. Uh, those concerts from this week have been rescheduled twice now. I bought the tickets, I think, about 3 years ago. So that's really nice. Really looking forward to going to these concerts. Because that was sarcastic if you didn't notice that. I used to really enjoy going to concerts. And then, of course, this whole pandemic started. And that really changed a lot of things. I have not been out and about with other people. Or just people in general. Even, oh, that's my shoe. My own family, I haven't seen that much in the last 2 years. Just so I could stay safe. And then not the first time, because the first time I went to a concert was like a month ago, and nothing happened. It was a sold out concert, and the concert I went to 2 weeks ago were both not sold out, and here we are. So that is always nice. That's a real gem. So I already was a little bit unsure about the whole situation. But yeah, as I said, I used to like concerts, so I thought, well, I could at least give it a go. And I did, and I sort of enjoyed it. Given that I went to see Hanson, which is the band I've been a fan of since I was 11. And the second Hanson concert I ever went to, I met some Belgian girls, friends of them, and ever since then we kept in contact and we went together to this concert. Which the overall experience was really nice. Of course, it was Hanson, and there's always drama at Hanson concerts, so there definitely was both concerts, which was really nice. If it would come with no drama, I think that is what we all would prefer, but sometimes it just happens, and you will have to deal with that. And I think if you have seen my uploads last week on my channel, was that last week? I think so. I uploaded some of the videos I took at those concerts. And the vibe was really nice. It was, as usual, as soon as they start playing, everybody enjoys it. And there was just, I think, after the whole Hanson Gate 2 years ago, I think a lot of fans either left or were skeptical about them. But then also, it's been the band I've been a fan of since I was 11. I'm now 36, so that's a long time ago. So I think that also helps with us wanting to go, but then also being skeptical about what happened. Because that is not something you can just forget on a whim. But at least they made sure that we all had a good time. The concert was contained a lot of old songs, which I would have liked to see a bit of a better balance between the old and the newer songs. Of course, they have songs that they always have to play. I can see that, but it would be also nice if they played more new songs. Of course, their recent album just came out like a month ago, so I can understand that they can't play all of the songs of there. But just a tiny bit more of a balance would have been nice, I would say. And I would say in the houses we stayed in, there were no double beds. They were all single beds. One time we stayed in I think I've told this story before. It was the one time that that my parents took all the groceries in our one car, and there was like this tiny corner of the back seat empty for me. That was fantastic. But that house had all kinds of different beds in them. I think, generally speaking, all of the houses had beds that were similar. Because I think that is usually more the case. That you will see that. And I said no double beds. There were definitely... Or maybe there was one time, but that maybe was it. Really depends also on what kind of house you rent. And our family has grown quite significantly since the first time. And I think you can also spot the color that we're going with. It's like a sage green, minty green. I think that's an overall good color that is calming, earth-toned. But I also, usually there were no sheets involved. There was just a bed and a mattress, and you had to bring everything else yourself. And I think that in the end result, I like the end result a lot. With this color combination, it just really works well. And I also like that I have this bed that is a single or a double. I think that I also really like that. This house is gonna be in 2 parts. I really tried my best, but it's pretty big, and furnishing it all takes some time. And I think somewhere I also count the rooms and sort them out. If I think somewhere down this line we add another room, I think we haven't done that yet. As said, I am basically building this to fit my family. Not that I think we're ever going to go on a trip like that again. And as fun as it sounds, there was also a lot of downsides. Putting a family for a weekend in a house together is fun, but also has a lot of organizing with it. And we had to have some kind of activity to do. And then just getting everybody fed is also a chore. And of course, as I said, groceries, you have to get groceries there somehow. And I think nowadays you could order them and get them delivered, but my idea was that it would have been better if just one person brought in the food. But that also means that one person should be there the earliest, first. And that also is not handy. We also one time tried to get the person that would arrive first to bring the things for that moment, and then people that will arrive later bring things for that moment. So the person that was bound to arrive the latest bought the breakfast supplies, but then I don't know what, but something happened and just didn't really pan out well enough. And this house also has a whole playground area and a pool, a fenced-in pool, before anybody starts questioning my motives on this house. A fenced-in pool with a gate that's lockable. It was the first time we did this. I had only one second cousin. She was, how old would she be? 3, maybe 4 at the least. Maybe 5. I have no clue how old she was. But they have my cousins have added to the family. And I think that also counts for the extra rooms. And I said that nobody really wants to share a room. They all want their own room. I think that also doesn't really help with the size of this house. And I would say that I tried to make sense of what I was putting down. Because this is a rental, so you wouldn't have a lot of knickknacks hanging about. I have put in some bookcases because I think that as this kind of house you can have some books there. Maybe some magazines that you can easily get a subscription to some magazine and then leave them there. For your guests to read. And the concerts I'm going to this week are Harry Styles twice. I said I bought these tickets I think about 3 years ago. And it has been postponed twice also. I think the thing that my niece and nephew were most excited about was the pool. When I told them this house had a pool, they were very excited about it. They were gonna be in the pool the whole time, they said. Sadly, this house is not a real house. It's all fake and there is no pool somewhere. But it's I at least think it's nice that I get this opportunity to think about what could be, and that we could have a lot of fun in a house like this if it did exist. Which it doesn't, but if it did, we would have a lot of fun together. I do also wonder how that would be with all the new additions in the house. In the family, and then everybody having their own room. Sounds nice, but it's also hard to figure out. And usually normal houses have a lot of storage space, but in The Sims you don't really have that, but I did try to incorporate some. And in the end I did change a little bit of this house after I was done recording, just to make it make bit more sense. As I said, storage space is always a big thing, and I could have just built a room, but that also didn't seem to fit with what I had in mind. And I think in these houses I've built a handful now. And I always put in double dishwashers because I think that is just useful. And double fridges and double stoves. And I also wanted to make it look a little bit cozy, like it was something fun that you could go to and you could have a lot of fun there with your family. But then also not overcluttering it. It's also a hard thing to get across. And I really wanted some kind of island in the middle of this kitchen, but also it didn't really make sense. So opting up for a table, which also kind of makes sense, if you ask me. I always think it looks very homely if you have a place for a island counter, or in this case this table. I think that just helps, and it's useful in many ways, I would say. And I have, for some strange reason, always incorporate these baskets in these homes. Don't really know why, but it seems to make sense. Sort of. So when this video goes out, I won't be home, so I can't live tweet that it's out. I will be in Antwerp. Oh, I would say at 5 I should be there. I have no clue at what time the doors open. I could look it up. Maybe I'll do that later. I have seen a couple of clips of his current tour of Harry Styles, and it looks like he makes a big show out of it, and I think that is what I am really hoping for seeing when I'm seeing him on Thursday. I do hope that I won't be as dead as I was last 2 weeks ago when I came home after 2 days of concert. Now I have a day in between, so maybe that's gonna help me. I hope so, because that would be nice. Because I am definitely getting too old for stuff like this. And you can see me now putting in more storage space in the dining room. Lots of storage space. If you have a house where you can have up to 30 people, I would suggest that you get a lot of storage space. For extra chairs and baby beds, baby chairs. I would say that this house comes with some games, and I would also think that it comes with craft supplies. I have built this room with some activities in there, and that just sounds like fun. And potentially also comes with some cushions for the chairs outside, and some outside play equipment, not just a ball, but maybe a bit more. Some badminton rackets or something like that. And I also, in the end, I include a nice windy road through some nice landscaping. I really tried my best to make it look nice. Landscaping is not something I'm good at. Yeah, I can do a basic landscaping, but this was definitely not a basic one. This house does get 2 living rooms. I think that is also... it's not as fun, but getting 30 people in one room is also not fun. So I think this extra living room situation is gonna be useful. And I said this is gonna be a 2-parter, so there won't be any screenshots at the end of this video. They will be in the second part. If you're really looking forward to seeing the screenshots, especially of the layout, I think that's always a good screenshot to look out for. And I really am trying to include also some cozy nooks, not just big rooms where you can sit all together, but maybe you just want to read your book or just sit in an extra chair. There were options in this house. There were also upstairs on the landing area, if you would call it that, the hallway upstairs. There are 2 spots where there are some couches and chairs and the bookcases where you can just sit, because I think that is gonna be useful. And otherwise it would be empty space, and we're not doing anything with empty space, so I think it was wise to make it something. And I would also say that with all these extra rooms, there is definitely an option if there was a kid not able to sleep. They could sleep in the craft room. You could maybe put up a bed there. There are options, and that is, I think, the ultimate thing if you build a group accommodation, that there are some options. And I also built a couple of outside terraces, so if you were to sit outside, you don't have to sit on the big terrace. There are 2 separate ones. And I always like to include a plant in every room, and that's definitely what I always try to include, even in this house, is in a plant in every room, because I think that is also that helps with the sense of home. Otherwise it will be a very dull, and you don't want that. I would say you don't want that. In some sort of, I said, I don't want to put in a lot of knickknacks, but I would say some knickknacks are good. And then it would be something that's not breakable. Because I think if you rent out a house, you don't want people to break your stuff, generally speaking. But looking at my screen, I'm getting to the end of this part of this video. As I said, there will be a second part, and that will include screenshots. So if you are looking forward to that, let me know in the comments or something. I'm gonna wrap this up right now. If you enjoyed watching this video, thumbs this video up, subscribe to my channel so you see the next part in 2 weeks' time. My name is Xylah, and I hope you have a lovely day. look at that green floor. That's just fantastic. Bye.